What's up, guys? Crack back with another pack. Okay, today we got Portia Odufuwa. I'm not going to even hold you that long. We're going to get straight into it today. Okay, let's get to it now.
According to court records, Odufuwa was determined to be incompetent to stand trial. She was then ordered to a mental health program, but she never finished, and it's still unclear why.
All I talk is crack, I can get the brick out. I put in the work and never, no nigga can never just say that I looked up.
A woman shot by police at Love Field today had several interactions with police and several arrests.
And that includes arrests for robbery and arson and mental health evaluations. Police say 37-year-old Portia Odufuwa was dropped off at the airport late this morning, went to a bathroom, changed clothing, then came out with a gun and started firing. Police officers immediately fired at her and struck her. No travelers were hurt. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to some folks who were there and forced to evacuate after the shooting, and some now who are scrambling to get their travel plans back on track. Peyton.
Yeah, Heather, we have been following this all day. Passengers who were past security had to evacuate when the shooting happened and then be re-screened by security. And then later on today, there was a ground stop. So thousands of cancellations across the country for Southwest, which we know is a huge hub here. The ticket counter behind me, this was blocked off earlier today with investigators on the scene. It has since opened up, and we are learning more about the woman who opened fire here at the ticket counter at Love Field and her previous run-ins with law enforcement. Gunshots at the Dallas Love Field Southwest Airlines ticket counter caused panicked passengers to drop to the floor.
Pop in the air. All I can do is run.
Dallas police say 37-year-old Portia Odufuwa opened fire shortly after she was dropped off at the airport just before 11 a.m. This is a previous mugshot of Odufuwa from 2019 when she was charged with robbing a bank in Wiley.
Okay, as you just heard, this lady is the individual that went into Love Field, the airport in Dallas, Texas, and shot the airport up. Now, I stopped to here because she has a couple different incidents that we're going to go over. The first incident is this bank robbery. Back in April 6, 2019, Wiley police arrest Bank of America robbery suspect. On April 5, 2019, at approximately 4:15 p.m., Wiley police responded to the Bank of America located at 1301 WFM 544 in reference to a robbery in progress. Initial investigation revealed that a female entered the bank and displayed a note demanding a disclosed amount of money. Employees acted quickly by notifying law enforcement and getting customers to a safe location as the female left the building. Responding officers were able to locate the suspect in an adjacent area as she attempted to flee on foot. After a short pursuit, 34-year-old Portia Odufuwa was taken into custody for the robbery of Bank of America. Odufuwa was subsequently transferred to Collin County Detention Facility without incident. Odufuwa was found incompetent to stand trial and underwent both inpatient and outpatient treatment. The case was eventually dismissed, court records show. It's unclear Tuesday what mental health diagnosis Odufuwa had that led to her being found incompetent. So she tried to rob a bank back in 2019, got caught, but due to her mental illness, it was something that they ended up dismissing the case. I believe probably due to her agreeing to go to counseling. Now, I said all that to say this. I wanted to make it very abundantly clear that Miss Odufuwa has a mental health diagnosis already. Okay, let's move on.
Monday, witnesses told police Odufuwa went to the restroom, put on a hoodie, and came back out holding a handgun.
We don't know where exactly the individual was aiming. For the most of what we're seeing now, she was aiming at the ceiling.
A Dallas police officer then shot Odufuwa in the leg. Cell phone video shows first responders offering first aid before Odufuwa was taken to Parkland Hospital. No others were injured, and police not releasing a motive. Ashley Wyckoff says moments before multiple shots were fired, she heard Odufuwa mumble terrifying words.
And she's making an announcement, like saying like somebody failed her husband or something, and it's like, I'm about to blow this place up.
Okay, I stopped it here because according to NBC DFW, a witness told police that Odufuwa was upset because her husband was fired from his job. When police asked Odufuwa for her husband's name, she replied Chris Brown. She also said she was God's prophet. Now, it's not the first time that she mentioned Chris Brown. She also was arrested in the case of where Odufuwa is accused of pulling the fire alarm. Mesquite police said Monday she was arrested April 25th, 2021. Odufuwa was staying at a hotel in the 4,000 block of Town Crossing, and she refused an extension to her stay. Odufuwa became upset and pulled the fire alarm in front of the clerk, police said. In that case, Odufuwa gave the address for Chris Brown's mansion as her home. So, again, this is not the first time that she brought Chris Brown's name up. So, for people that don't know, there's a such thing called mental illness. And a lot of people out there are suffering from this. And I wanted to point this out before we move on to understand that this lady is not really in her right state of mind while doing these things, because you can go back into her history and see that there is a pattern of this young lady saying something about Chris Brown and also doing things out of character or just not the normal activity. Okay, let's move on.
Past security, passengers took cover while waiting to board.
There was a group of people just really running for their lives and was just kind of shouting, run, run, run.
Once it was clear, TSA told all Love Field passengers they must be rescreened by security.
They just told us to evacuate the building.
Others were told to stay outside near the tarmac. After an afternoon ground stop, Love Field resumed operations hours later with law enforcement still on scene. Curtains blocked the Southwest Airlines terminal as FBI agents used a scissor lift to investigate the ceiling. Odufuwa is known to law enforcement. Here's a mugshot from a 2021 arrest. The 37-year-old arrested multiple times on charges including bank robbery, arson, and making a false report of a fire.
Okay, this is one of the most serious cases, stemmed from a 2019 arson arrest in Mesquite. The Dallas County District Attorney Office rejected the arson case because of lack of scientific evidence. District Attorney John Cruzat said he didn't immediately have additional details. On October 4th, 2019, about 7:50 p.m., officers were sent to the 1900 block of Bridgewater Lane near Valley Creek Road because a house was on fire. Odufuwa was standing outside, watching it burn, and requested to speak to the police officer. She told the officer she was responsible for this fire, according to an arrest warrant affidavit. The officer asked her if she started the fire intentionally, and she said yes, the affidavit said. When the officer asked why, the affidavit said she responded, "I am God's prophet, and I need an attorney. But I'm basically letting you all know that I am the cause of this fire." Odufuwa told police that she previously lived inside of the house and returned because it never fully burned down. According to the affidavit, she said the home had been burned down twice before and the officers wouldn't understand why she burned it down, the affidavit said. So in my opinion, whatever happened in that home may have something to do with her mental state going forward. So she wanted to return to that home and burn that thing to the ground for whatever that reason was. Now, mental health is real, you guys. I got a lot of people in my family that go through mental health. And if anybody out there feels like they ever want to do something harmful to themselves or to anyone else due to what you're going through with inside, then please call 911 or call a mental health facility so you can get some help. But if you're online and you do YouTube, you can go to an individual by the name of Trill Pill. He does a lot of mental health awareness talks and courses and things of that nature. And I recommend you go check his page out, and maybe you can get a little help or somebody could talk to you that's going through the same things you're going through. Okay, now what we're going to do is finish the news clip out, then play a little bit of the airport video. I'm going to kind of commentate through it, and then we're going to get up out of here. Okay, let's get to that now. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Audio Crack 22 on all platforms.
In the affidavit from a 2019 arson case, she's quoted telling police she was a prophet of God. There is history of mental health evaluations following her arrests. Meanwhile, thousands were stranded following Monday's shooting. More than 1,300 Southwest flights were delayed and nearly 300 Southwest flights canceled. Karen Cousins and her son Kendrick rushed to DFW International Airport to try to get home to Atlanta.
But to actually be facing it and hear where it actually happened, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it.
Over in baggage claim, a mother-daughter reunion. Charlie Pierre-Louis' daughter Charlotte was an unaccompanied minor flying in from Phoenix. The 10-year-old's flight was diverted to Lubbock before safely landing in Dallas.
Waiting for that text message to come through, it was the longest, it was an hour of my life.
According to court records, Odufuwa was determined to be incompetent to stand trial. She was then ordered to a mental health program, but she never finished, and it's still unclear why.
Okay, now we're going to get to the footage of what happened in the airport. Okay, as you can see, we got a map up here with 6 incidents that happened. We're going to start with number 1. At 10:59 in the morning, Portia Odufuwa, 37, was dropped off at the airport and walked inside the terminal. Odufuwa went inside a woman's restroom and a short time later walked out into the ticket area wearing a hoodie. She pulled out a gun, aimed it toward the ceiling, and fired several shots. Dallas police officer working at the airport shoots the woman in the lower extremities. She is taken to the hospital. At 11:11 a.m., Love Field evacuates the airport and the Federal Aviation Administration orders airplanes grounded until 1:30 p.m. 11:45 a.m., hundreds of passengers are waiting outside of the terminals as police interview witnesses. 12:30 p.m., FAA extends the ground stop until 2:30 p.m. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Audio Crack 22 on all platforms. Okay, that's the footage that I'm going to show you guys. There's much more footage you can go check out on the internet, body cam footage, etc., but I thought that was probably enough. So what did we learn today? The most important thing to me is that we learned that Miss Portia had an illness. She was suffering from mental health issues. I just want you guys to pay attention to people around you and kind of see the patterns throughout the years, and you could kind of understand it, you know. And when individuals are dealing with stuff like this, they need people around them, or they need help, one of the two. So that was the most important thing that I feel like we learned today. And again, if you're on YouTube and you want to talk to somebody, check out my boy Trill Pill. He has a lot of great content, just explaining what it is and how to go through it and how I go about it. So check his page out. Luckily, nobody else got hurt. I believe she's still alive. So luckily, she'll be able to maybe get those courses and get her some help so that she doesn't have to go through another incident like this. Until next time.
All I talk is crack, I can get the brick out. I put in the work and never, no nigga can ever just say that I looked up.